Hey guys, it's Kaitlin. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking underwriting, why it happens, and what we can do to fix it. At the most basic level, underwriting is a problem for your story because if you want to go the traditional route and query to a literary agent and have one of the big guys take your work, you will need your book to hit a certain word count, generally about 85,000 words, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. It's really unfortunate because a great novel is not always dictated by the word count. I mean, take The Great Gatsby, for instance. It's only about 46,000 words, and it is generally thought of as the hallmark best novel in American literature. So, not saying that if your book isn't 85,000 words, that it's not very good. That's definitely not true. But sometimes, whenever we want to go the traditional route, we need to hit those word counts. On the opposite end of the spectrum, sometimes if we have a low word count, that could mean that something is wrong in our story, something is not fully developed, whether it be the characters, the plot, or the theme. Generally, there are two types of writers. There are overwriters or underwriters. I fall into the latter. So why do we do it? One of the biggest reasons, I think, at least for me, is because I don't want to bore my reader. Even if I am not a plot-driven book, I don't want the conflict to slow down. I don't want the pace of the story to slow down. And so I don't want to drag my reader into all these boring details. For example, if my protagonist is a builder and he's building a house, I just want to let my readers know in an artful way that maybe connects to something, to the theme. I just want to let my readers know that the character has built the house. I might say he dug the foundation, he laid the brick, he decorated, and then he took it to market. But a very technical writer might talk about the minerals that were mixed in with the foundation, the exact angle the foundation was laid, what color shower curtain they used, the window is adjacent to the desk. They might have all of these details. I call those writers like the John Steinbeck writers, and some people, more technical people, may be interested in that. Me as a writer and as a reader, I'm not interested in that, so I definitely gloss over those details because I don't want to bore the writer. However, at some level, we need sufficient detail around those things. Like maybe you don't need pages and pages, but maybe I simply forgot a paragraph here and there and there, and by that point my novel is down 3,000 words than what it could be. Something that goes hand in hand with that is the character's reaction time. Again, we may not want to bore the reader by saying, my character drove alone on a deserted road for 3 hours while he mulled over what his ex-lover's comments meant. But an artful writer will know how to incorporate the reaction into something interesting. An artful writer will incorporate a new clue into the reaction time, or the reaction time being manifested at a fun party. So don't think that just because your character is in his head a lot, he's thinking, he's understanding things, don't think that that has to be boring. Another reason is we don't have our pinch points fully developed, or we don't even have pinch points. Sometimes we go from plot point one straight to the midpoint and we don't get that necessary squeeze from the antagonist. I cannot tell you how important pinch points are. They are essential to every novel and they should be juicy, they should be big scenes. And if your pinch point isn't fully developed, that can be a big reason why your novel is not hitting those word count goals. We haven't spent enough time with our characters. We don't know our characters well enough. We don't really know how they'll react. We don't know enough about their backstory, their lie, their ghost. And when we think about our characters enough, whenever we can imagine them in different scenarios, when we're really close to our characters, we will have a lot to say about them. We don't have enough to say about this particular topic. This is a really tough one because we don't want to be adding unnecessary, irrelevant information to our stories. We want it all to connect. We want it all to still be a fast pace. So sometimes, unfortunately, with our ideas that we once thought were so great, we don't always have enough information to carry the story the whole way through. I would recommend just kind of stepping back from your novel and taking a break from it, maybe working on something else and, maybe doing some more research, and suddenly you might have more inspiration. to keep going, but if not, always just put it in the back pocket. You can combine it with something else. That's really not a big deal. I know initially, whenever you're kind of in that deciding moment to pursue or to cut, it can be really devastating, but try your best to look at the big picture. Finally, we're just in a rush to get published. We spent all this time thinking of the idea, perfecting it, doing grammar edits, that we just want to get it off our chest and share it with the world. So what are the fixes to underwriting? I have developed 3 that have really helped me. I was writing a manuscript last year at this time. It was only about 52,000 words. And then after taking about 6 to 7 months off, I was able to add about 40,000 words to it, which was really exciting. And I think they're all very relevant words and they really enhance my story. So number 1 is identify the gaps in your story. And the easiest way to do this is to just simply outline your novel. I know as writers, we don't like outline. It kind of makes us cringe. It makes us think of some crazy spreadsheet or some formula. And for us intuitive people, we don't necessarily do things in a linear fashion. So my suggestion to help combat that, some of that fear and anxiety over doing that, is to just write really sloppily, write into a notebook, get some bright colored pens, and just start outlining, the first plot point, first pinch point, and write what they are and where it falls in your story. You might be surprised that you might have a hard time identifying a plot point or a pinch point, and that is a telltale sign that you should immediately go back and kind of dig deeper into your story. What I like to do next is simply go to Microsoft Word, go to my manuscript, and I will highlight all the words all the way up to the first plot point. And maybe I see that the first plot point happens at 17,000 words when it should be happening at 25,000 words. So if I see that, then I can identify that my fix is in the normal world and I simply need to build my normal world. I will keep doing that until I get through the whole novel. You can also perform this exercise by going chapter by chapter and just writing a 1 or 2 sentence summary about what's happening in your chapter, what characters you meet, what conflicts going on, what gets resolved. After you finish doing that, read through your notes. This will really give you a holistic big picture and will help you see if you missed any important connections that might be up here but might not be on your paper. Secondly, you can add new information to juice up your novel. Add a new plot twist, add a new minor character, create more conflict with your minor characters, and one of my favorites, have your characters search for an object that's important and relevant to the theme of your story. That can really help connect 2 things. I love to put a little connector in there that helps connect A to B. Add a minor description for the setting or for the character's appearance that you think the reader might find interesting. If you add these things, you can honestly get anywhere from like 1,000 words to even like 10 or 15,000 words. Finally, step away. This is by far the hardest thing to do because, as writers, we're hardworking, we want to do this, we want to get our stories out, but I can assure you that nothing benefits your novel and your thought process more than having a little break. Whether your step away is just listening to some new music, whether it's taking a weekend trip, or whether it's taking 3 months off or 3 months to work on a different project, I can assure you it will benefit your story. The longer you step away, the more new insight you'll have, and you'll really be able to connect those dots that may have been missing. I hope you guys found this information useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!